I'd make a little video to show you the pipe rack that I made out of an old dynamite box that I found in a barn. I had my pipes in a box and thought that was kind of a shame to not see them, and you know, half the thing with pipes I think is they're aesthetically pleasing, so it's nice to have them on display. There are a number of pipe racks you can buy, of course, that are nice in their own way, but I thought to myself, I wonder if I can make one. The extraordinary thing about this is that I never had a creative idea with woodwork, but this time I did, and I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out. So I can start by showing some of the pipes that are on there. My Savinelli 673 that I got last winter. Wonderful piece of craftsmanship. Smokes wonderfully, feels wonderful in the hand. Love it. My Briarworks Apprentice pipe. A second from Briarworks with a little cosmetic error that turned into a cheaper option that I love very much. Straight apple. My Boswell from 2006 that I got at the Boswell shop in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. And has a shotgun shell ring on the end of it. It says Winchester 12 gauge. Pretty cool. So this one has followed me almost 20 years now. My Georg Jensen bent Dublin, I got in Denmark in 2006. There's a whole story attached to this pipe. Wonderful pipe. Cheap, cost me about $60 US, about 500 Danish kroner. Smokes incredibly well. And then my guest pipe that I bought online for like 20 years ago. This is a Barling, probably from the 70s or 80s, that I'm not super in love with, so I have it for guests, but it has kind of a narrow chamber that is difficult to pack in a way that is acceptable, I think. I like the feel and the look of it, but I have it for guests. So I have some Bagpiper's Dream from Rich Ray's that a friend gave me. It is wonderful stuff. Got some aged Sam Gowith Full Virginia Flake from 2011. There's some wonderful stuff that I got. Someone was selling on Facebook that I said thank you very much to. That's some good stuff. I got an empty bottle of Buffalo Trace. Thankfully, I have one in a cabinet that is not empty. I love this stuff, and I think the bottle looks nice and just seems to fit on that shelf. And then my all-time favorite book that is not the Bible is George MacDonald's Fantasties. So I have that there, so there's symbolic value. Read this book many, many times. And here is the pipe rack. This part is loose, so I can sort of have this as a shelf if I want to. And then I can put that up there and put my pipes there. I cut out these little notches and filed them down. And I took some sort of this box. I could put some pictures up of how it was across the process, but it says explosive content or transport class C nitroglycerin incorporated Utorp, Sweden. So this is a box from probably the 50s or 60s that was so you used to be able to buy dynamite for farm use. I found this in a barn with some old plumbing equipment in it. No dynamite. And I sort of just carefully took it apart, cut down at an angle. These boards sort of fit together, so I took them apart one at a time. And to cut one out to put it here so you can see some of the text. These pieces were sort of handle pieces or framing pieces that I took and reattached in different places. First, I scrubbed the whole thing down with some soap and water just to get all the nasties out of there from mice and who knows what. 50 kilograms, no bells, extra dynamite. Of all pipe racks, you know, you can't buy one like this. Or rather, maybe you could, and maybe my wife thinks I might. Maybe you should start making these out of more wooden boxes I find and sell them to people for a bunch of money. Why not? Support my pipe hobby. Sorry. But yeah, I'm extremely pleased with how this turned out. So I have enough space here to put tobacco and stuff, and then on the other side I have space for my pipes. They rest up against this board here on the bottom, and they have a perfect little notch space for them there. I've got space for 7 pipes, which is more than I have right now, and that's half the idea. It's important to have space for expansion, if you know what I mean. This is some early morning pipe, which is fabulous stuff. So I have this up here in my office at the moment with a bunch of theology books for my master's thesis that I'm writing about sanctification, about the mystical theology of Martin Luther, about Maximus the Confessor, Augsburg's Confession, all kinds of good stuff. Big thoughts. This is where I do my thinking when I'm not smoking. When I am smoking, I go out to our little, I can show you. This is my assistant, research assistant. And out on the farm, it's my little smoke shack. I go sit out there when my brain cells are not working, or if I just want to smoke while working. This is our little farm that is in the process of thawing after the long Scandinavian winter. In this direction, that way there is nobody for miles and miles and miles. That ridge line in the distance is, beyond that is probably, it's plenty of miles before you get to the next village or anything. So this is our little spot in the world, my little fire pit, chicken coop, shed and workshop. We're the last house in our village in this direction. So there are about 30 people who live in our village, but in this direction there's nothing for a long way. So the minimal size of where I would want to live in the world is where, as far as a house is concerned, is I want to be able to go outside in my underwear and shoot a deer or a bird or whatever is out there without anybody caring. And I have done both of those things here. So anyway, this has been Smoke Your Pipe and Be Silent. Hope I've given you some inspiration for making your own pipe rack, because why buy a pipe rack when you can make one that has a lot more character, you know? I have this old sugar box. That would be a pretty sweet pipe rack as well, but that would be maybe a bit too big. But there's all kinds of ways you can do this stuff without necessarily too much effort.